Hello and welcome to today's LOL Esports Roundup. We're going to cover the games that occurred across all four major regions in the last 24 hours, touch on a bit of news, and then preview the games tomorrow in the LPL, LCK, and LEC. I understand the LCS is going on when I'm posting this. That's just the reality of it. I don't want to post this video after the LCS is done when the LPL and LCK starts at 1 o'clock in the morning, which is literally, 6 hours from now or so, 7 hours. News, Dignitas yesterday, when I was uploading my video, they put out that Tomo was replacing Spawn. Tomo put up a 4.9 KDA, 9.5 CS per minute, 60.6 KP in North American Academy. Like I said about Playeta yesterday, I think numbers like this are good. They're solid at that level. They're not exceptional, but he was one of the better AD carries at that level. 708 damage per minute, 26.5 damage share, 23.9 gold share. On average, across 23 games, he was up 1,000 gold, 25 CS, and nearly 500 XP at 15 minutes. So laning-wise, he is ahead in a big way. 8 champions in 23 games. I believe 10 games of Lucian out of those 23. Now, Spawn's numbers in the LCS are arguably the worst I've ever seen out of an AD carry. His KDA was 0.5 across 9 games. He had an 8.6 CS per minute. I've seen worse than that, but a 35.6 KP. So out of the kills by Dignitas, their AD carry was involved in 1 out of every 3. Like, that's awful. 400 damage per minute. Pretty much, I mean, shoot, just over half of the amount of Tomo. 23.5 damage share, 22.1 gold share. On average was down 1,170 gold, 14 CS, and nearly 600 XP at 15 minutes. So this move had to be made. I know I saw some people, some former pros, post on Twitter saying they didn't think Spawn was definitely the person that didn't believe that Spawn should have been the person to fall on the sword. I think Spawn was not doing well. And it's harder to bench Jensen or Santorin than it is Spawn. He is the least experienced of the group, but he's also like 24 years old, 25 years old. So, I think although he's a rookie, at the same time, he's been around the block before. So it's hard to really give him a lot of leeway because how much time can you give a 24, 25-year-old to get better when really how much better can they get? Predictions-wise, I'm 162 and 69 on the year. Recap in the LCS, FlyQuest beat 100 Thieves. Fly were 11th in the power rankings at 8-1, 100 Thieves 4-5. Prince went 14-0-1, 43% of the team's damage on Zeri. Isla 0-3-16 on a Soraka. Bjergsen went 4-4-4 with 36% of the team's damage on an Annie. So, this game was close for quite a while, and then there were some key team fights in the mid-game that allowed Prince to get online, allowed the Zeri to get online, and it was done. I thought Bjergsen really kept them in the game with the Annie, doing work, but it didn't pan out for them. Impact definitely had the edge on Summit. I believe he may have solo killed him at one point, and that put the top lane in a bit of a problem. So offsetting mid lane, where honestly Vikla did do some work, and team fight wise, like I said, 100 Thieves just really didn't have an answer for Fly. I'm kind of going to speed run through this, trying to get this video done. Immortals and Team Liquid, Immortals 2-7, TL 3-6, TL wins, Summit 1 kill, 1 death, 11 assists, team leading 25% of damage. Very different than the last time they played. Or no, I think that was actually the preview for tonight's game. Never mind. Pioshik 8-0-10 on a Wukong was MVP. A Blaze Olive 1-5-1, 34% of damage on a Victor, I think, again. They keep picking him Victor, and it's not going well, if I recall correctly. But TL were just all over the Rift. They were all over the Rift. Harry was diving a Blaze Olive at times, nearly killing him, like in the laning phase. It was a pretty nasty game. IMT are struggling, and like I said, I've been saying, and I was saying before Dignitas finally made a move, Immortals need to do something. Next week, there's no excuse. Balulu should be in the lineup. I don't understand why Balulu isn't in the lineup. Can't emphasize this enough. Liquid 4-6, trying to, take wins off of the bottom tier teams. Today, I think they play 100 Thieves, so it's more of a, a game that it's going to be stiffer competition. So we'll see how that goes. Golden Guardians and Cloud9, GG at 5-4, C9 7-2, 17th in the power rankings. Golden Guardians win. I thought that Golden Guardians would win. Gory 217, 34% of damage. River 526 was MVP in the jungle. Eminez in his debut went 1 kill, 6 deaths, 2 assists, 33% of the team's damage. This was a mid gap. And the thing is with this, and it's not, some of this is Eminez's fault. Like he did, like there was one moment when he died in River when he tried to clear a control ward when he didn't have mid prio, which allowed him to get caught out. And like stuff like that, making decisions like that were pretty prevalent for him. Itemization was awful. Just not very good at all. You know, I'm not going to say that it's just one game. It's just one game. So today he may dominate. Right now he could be dominating, for all I know, and whenever you're watching this and when it's finally uploaded. But the fact of the matter is, he sucked yesterday. And Gory and River continue to really, really do some work. Honestly, the LCS isn't much better than the PCS on paper, so to see a Korean jungler and a Korean mid laner dominate is not a shock to me. Now, I do expect C9 to get better, Blabber get more used to the fact that his mid laner is like super aggro. You'd like Fudge to do more against Licorice in the matchup they're in, because Fudge needs to, you know, win that matchup. And honestly, Stixay and he did fine. Stixay finally died to his first death in 5 games. 5 games he went deathless. He was 37-0-14 in that window. Or 34-0-17, one of the two. And he died, but Golden Guardians win. TSM 5-4, CLG 4-5, CLG win. Luger 905, 30% of damage on a Lucian. Poom 0-1-14 on the Nami, and Boogie went 0-3-4, 30% of damage on a Maokai. Yeah, there was a bit of a diffy in these team fights and in the bot lane. Luger doing a lot of work. He had a quadra kill, almost a pentakill when the game ended. Boogie did make him work for it, so he didn't get it, and I respect that because I'm tired of players handing over pentas like they're candy on Halloween. I think that's BS. But yeah, TSM really didn't have anything going for them in this one against CLG. Maple, like Palafox, I thought really struggled for sure. So if that was something to nitpick on CLG, I thought Palafox made some mistakes that were like, what are you doing? I think he was on Silas, if I recall. But otherwise, CLG were pretty smooth sailing. Dignitas and EG. Dignitas 0-9, EG 7-2, 20th in the power rankings. Dig would finally win. The 0-10 never happened. It's never happened in the LCS. We've had, I think, 4 teams go 0-9, but nobody go 0-10. And Dig keep it going. Jensen 4-2-9, 32% of damage on an Azir, was MVP. He had a great shuffle as the game was coming. I mean, honestly, Dig through this game and Jensen saved it. Tomo 6-1-5 in his debut. That's a big deal. FBI 3-2-2, 29% of damage for EG. Jensen, like, so what happened? Dig throw, EG get Baron, I believe, and Elder. So EG have Elder. Inspired stole it. They then take Baron, and then they're pushing down bot lane and actually knocking on the door of the outer turret. And I don't know if they took it or not, but Jensen, a massive shuffle that was that allowed Tomo and the rest of the team to attack and kill the EG members, and that really saved the game, because otherwise, honestly, EG was going to win. They really were. They're going to pull it out of their ass. It would have been not the first, second, or third time EG's won a game that way, which is why, you know, there's a little bit of discourse. Why do I have C9 and EG where I do? Why aren't they vice versa in the power rankings? I just think EG have definitely stolen a few games this year that they had no business winning. Dig, I honestly, I should have, I said it in the chat, and I didn't predict it, so I went 4-5, but I said it before the game, and I think I was half joking, half serious, Dig are going to win, because it just, there's no way on paper that team is the worst in LCS history. Like, it's just not. It's just not possible. LPL this morning, Ninja and Pajamas go in at 2-6, Anyone's Legend 1-7, Nip win 2-1. Pout in 2 games goes 5-3, 18, 27% of damage. He was MVP. Fodic, 14, 4, and 11 at 80 carry. Betty, 12, 7, 11, 32% of the team's damage at 80 carry for anyone's legend. So Dream started game 1. He played Rise. He was irrelevant. And not only was he irrelevant, but he didn't get around the rift to make anything happen. He allowed anyone's legend to just dominate the side lanes and win the game. Pin Z got the better of him. Now, the next 2 games, Pout was more impactful. Really unlocked Zhao Lao Bao, who looked just exceptional on the Lee Sin in game 3. Exceptional. Like, we had a great Lee Sin play out of Zhao Lao Bao in Lan today. And Hang, for that matter. Like, great Lee Sins in China today, despite all 4 of these teams being in the bottom half of what you would consider the, teams to watch in the LPL. Just great work out of Pout. Zhao Lao Bao in the second and third game, they had a lot of chemistry. Really took it to Pin Z and Zhao Hao. ZDZ against Invincible. I thought that went back and forth for sure. And the bot side, Jiu, I think it's Jiu. I've been saying Jiu, but I think it's Jiu, or Gio. He and Fodic got the better of Betty and Sword Art over the 3 games. So Nip end up going 2-1, and they win. I thought anyone's legend was going to win it. Team Wii and Rare Atom. I had Rare Atom winning this one. They did not. Team Wii, 3-5, win 2-1. Rare Atom were 4-3. Shanks, 9-5, 18, 30% of damage in the mid lane. He got the better of Strive. Iwandi was MVP, going 6-3 and 27 at support. And then Asum went 14, 6, and 8 for Rare Atom for 37% of the team's damage. He had a Draven game where he was super cracked. I think that was the game they might have won. And Zhao Lao Bao also was exceptional. Leian, I just described it. Leian was all over the place on the Lee Sin. It was actually like textbook. He was on point time and time again. And then going into game 2, first blood in mid lane. Made immediately. Just not even missing a step, right? Now, Team Wii recover in game 2. Definitely do a lot of work. I think, if I recall correctly, Hope had a lot of good moments in that one. Shanks did. Shanks was on LeBlanc in game 2. It was LeBlanc into Lissandra. And then game 3, Shanks was on Cassiopeia. Sticking out to me now. That's why he was I almost made him MVP, but I thought Iwandi across all 3 games played exceptionally. But yeah, so Shanks did do work on the LeBlanc. And pair that with Hang, and then game 3 he played Cassiopeia, and Hang played Lee Sin, and he had some really good moments. Bubu's Cho'Gath was super tanky. There was no way they were beating that. There were some key team fights in the mid game that definitely allowed Team Wii some objectives where Bubu was able to just get bigger and bigger. Hope was not as important in game 3 in my opinion. I thought he actually got caught out a few times, which really made me, second guess some things and choose Iwandi instead of him for MVP. So, Team Wii get past Rare Atom. These 2 teams are close in the standings. I'm not surprised with how the series went. LCK, Gen G, and DRX. Gen G 8-3, third in the power rankings. DRX 1-9. Doran was MVP as Gen G would win 2-0. Pays went 10-3 and 18, 27% of damage. Peanut 6-1 and 20 at jungle. And then Fate led the way for DRX with 1 kill, 7 deaths, 2 assists, 33% of damage. Duck Dom was not in this game. Played in his place due to an injury. There was a big diffy in the bot lane in this one. You saw moments where Delight was up, Playeta's, butt, and really got after him. And it looked like the guy was just out of place. It really did. Doran into Rascal. Doran was getting the better of him. Doran was a lot better. Like, this Jax game was really good out of him. I'm surprised he's only played it so much. So little amount over his career. Really good game. Really good in team fights. I think he might have played Gragas. I think he played Gragas in game 2 because it was Jackson to Gragas and then it flipped. And his Gragas did work as well. Chovy played Annie, and the Tibbers was super, super cracked at times, almost serving as a Brahmi and a shield instead of really dealing damage. So, I think they were joking that Tibbers was MVP. I almost picked Chovy, but in the end, Doran was the pick for me. KDF and D plus. D plus ninth in the power ranking, 7-4. KDF 2-8. 2-8. 7-4. Today is Friday. I thought today was Saturday. D plus win 2-0. Deft 11, 4 and 15, 28% of damage. Kellen was MVP going 4-2-35. Taeyun 4, 9, 11, 25% of damage for the Freaks leading the way. Bulldog really wasn't as big of a deal in this one. Showmaker did a lot of work. He was very good. But I thought Kellen had some key Varus ultis in game 1. So KDF actually, algorithm-wise, were super strong in this series because they were ahead for a large part of it. They did what they had to do, and then they threw. So, statistically, they actually did very well for the most part until they lost, and I thought Kellen had a lot to do with it. His Ash arrows definitely brought them in the game against the Varus. I hope I didn't say on Varus earlier, but against the Varus, he picked off Taeyun a couple times that allowed D Plus back into the game in game 1 and allowed them to be able to have an opportunity at the Baron. They take the Baron, they make things happen, and they win. And then game 2, KDF also were competitive. But I believe D Plus took it with ease in the end. So, sorry about that. A lot of games to talk about. We just finished this 5-game series with Mad and SK, and I'm trying to get the video out. LEC, Mad Lions 7-2, SK 6-3. Mad win 3-2. I thought they'd win 3-1, but this was a lot closer than I thought. Karzi, 25 kills, 12 deaths, 25 assists, 29% of the team's damage. Elyoya was MVP, going 10 kills, 11 deaths, 36 assists. Certus led the way for SK, 17 kills, 11 deaths, 20 assists, 29% of the team's damage. Going into Game 5, LCK had more damage than Certus, and he was originally written on the board, but it got flipped in Game 5. LCK definitely leaving a lot to be desired on the Lucian in that one. And, honestly, despite Mad Lions picking Tristana Rel into it and Hilly having some Hilly moments, SK couldn't get it done. Just a very dominant series out of Elyoya against Marcoon. With the Elise is an A-tier pick. And we saw Gragas being picked in this series in every game, whether it was mid lane or jungle. And the Gragas I don't think is that good. In either role, really. I think some people are using it in mid. They're just good players, but in good matchups. Listening to the Yamato co-stream with Jizuke on it and Upset and Jack Spectra and Dom today. And even yesterday listening to Jizuke, he was talking about how Gragas and Azir, interact with each other in lane, and the Gragas actually has value in that, but I don't know if the Gragas has a lot of value, in all matchups, or it's very particular. Nevertheless, it is a massive drop-off from Elise in the jungle. So, Marcoon not able to keep up. And then not only that, Marcoon on the Sejuani in Game 5 against Elise did not keep up either, and that's not acceptable. Sejuani is in that group, and the fact of the matter is, and I say it all the time, as a jungler especially, but this applies to everybody, you need to be farming or making something happen, and doing neither is not acceptable. And that's what was happening. Elyoya was all over the place, diving top lane multiple times, getting into Irrelevant's lane. Irrelevant did get solo killed multiple times in this series, which I don't find acceptable either. Certus got solo killed in mid lane, but there were good moments for SK. Obviously, it was 2-2, right? They did win Game 2. They did win Game 4. Mad Lions had some moments that it was like, oh, what are you doing here? Certus on a melee mid laner, on a Kali, definitely did a lot of work when he got the opportunity to play it, but otherwise, they're trying to keep him off of those things. We saw Azir in Game 4 for him be a lot better than it was in Game 3. But, it just... I thought Mad Lions would be a lot better, which is unfortunate because, that's going to obviously affect how I feel about the series tomorrow, and my prediction video will be out after this one. But SK had a great split, a lot better than expected, a young team, and they're allowed to make mistakes. That's why I don't think like any of them inted today. I thought they outperformed everybody's expectations all year, so all of a sudden now you have expectations of them. That's not how it works. So like I don't think they inted at all. I think that they just ran out of steam. Sneak peek for tomorrow: LPL, Thunder Talk and RNG. Thunder Talk 5-3, RNG 4-4. Thunder Talk coming off of a win against NIP. RNG against LGD. Week 10, day 1 of summer last year. RNG won 2-0. 8 of the 10 starters overlap. The only 2 that don't, I believe, are AD carry for Thunder Talk. It was Puff. It's now Wanfang. And then, or it was Kepler and now Wanfang. Either way. And then RNG, swap out mid laner Xiaohu for Angel. The only 2 players, we highlighted the bot lane matchup on Discord. So both AD carries, not the same. So supports, Ming went 1 kill, 7 deaths, 23 assists for 7% of the team's damage in that one. Yao Yao, 0, 8, and 18 for 8%. Ultra Prime and EDG, follow that up. I did not write down the power rankings. Oh, they're still here. RNG are 10th. Thunder Talk are out. EDG are 7th in the power rankings against Ultra Prime. EDG 5-2, up 3-5, up, beat OMG. EDG lost to top last week. Week 6, day 3, EDG would win 2-0. Only 2 of the 10 starters overlap from that one, both on EDG, JJ, and Mako. I'm not citing the last time Ning and JJ played against each other because it was a long-ass time ago. But that's a matchup highlighted. JJ against Ultra Prime last year went 6-0-17 with 14% of his team's damage. That's definitely a one-sided affair. The bot lane being the most, I think that's going to be the most contested matchup. JDG in top. This is a big deal. JDG second in the power rankings, or third. Did I write Gen G third? Yeah, Gen G are supposed to be second. JDG third. Top are 5th. And this is going to decide who the top dog is, in my opinion, right now for the LPL. A lot of people think LNG are the best team, but that's because they look at the standings and read those. JDG 6-2, top 6-1. FPX lost to JDG last time they were on the Rift, and top beat EDG. Finals in summer was the last time these 2 teams crossed paths. JDG would win 3-2. 7 of the 10 starters overlap, but the Discord wants to highlight the mid lane matchup. Knight played for top. He now plays against his former team. This does make sense. It is the marquee matchup. I do think Jackie Love versus Ruler is also extremely interesting. Kanavi versus Tian. I would say top lane is the most boring between 369 and King Tian, or Ching Tian, but regardless, the other 3 matchups are absolutely exciting. That matchup is going to be very fun to watch tomorrow. LCK, T1 and KT. T1 10-1, and they're first in the power rankings. KT 4th at 7-4. KT would lose to D+ earlier in the week. T1 beat Sandbox. Week 1, day 3. T1 would win 2-1 in this one. The top lane matchups highlighted. Zeus went 5-3 and 14 for 17% of the team's damage. Keen 2-6-5, 20%. Keen has been one of the best top laners in the world, if not the best. And Zeus coming into this split was in he was in the conversation. Definitely, I think I had him second behind Bin. Some people have him first. That's respectable. Nongshim and Sandbox. Nongshim 1-10. Sandbox 7-4 and 8th in my power rankings. Sandbox lost to T1 last time they were on the Rift. Nongshim lost to Gen G. Week 3, day 1. Sandbox would win 2-0. Top lane matchup was highlighted. Birdall went 2-1-7, 19% of the team's damage. And Din Din went 2-4-1 for 27%. So Din Din had a lot of impact in that one, despite the KP being so low, which is a bad thing, right? That means Nongshim are not dealing damage anywhere else. So we'll see how that one goes. I don't expect it to be very close. And then lastly, LEC. Koi, 4-5, and they are 19th in the power rankings against Mad Lions, who are 7-2 and 14th. Koi lost to G2. Mad Lions obviously beating SK. They played week 2, day 2. Mad Lions would win. The mid lane matchup's what I'm highlighting. Both players doing work. Niski 216 for 22% of team's damage. Larson in the loss went 240 with 46% of Koi's damage. So I expect it to be a little closer tomorrow than that game was. I think Larson had the only 2 kills that Koi had. So that's it for the roundup. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter. Join the Discord. Become a supporter. And thank you for watching.